Construction Zone Safety Program. Project description: the construction of new facilities to include additions and renovations to existing facilities. Purpose: Construction Zone considers no phase of construction or administration of greater importance than accident prevention. Accidents which result in personal injury and damage to property and equipment represent needless waste and loss. It shall be the policy of Construction Zone and its contractors to conduct all operations safely and thereby prevent injuries to persons and damage to property and equipment. Objective: the objective of this safety orientation program is to establish the concept that the prevention of accidents and protection of property and the environment is of most importance and therefore shall receive top priority, support, and participation throughout all of the Construction Zone construction projects. The General Duty Clause, OSHA Act of 1970, Federal 29 CFR 1903.1. Employers must furnish a place of employment free of recognized hazards that are causing or are likely to cause death or serious physical harm to employees. Employers must comply with the occupational safety and health standards promulgated under the Williams-Steiger Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. Safety training. All employers are responsible for providing general and specific safety and health training for their employees. Employees should also be trained on the recognition of health and safety hazards. Safety training: competent person, qualified person, PPE, fall, scaffold, ladder, trenching, confined space, electrical, lockout tagout, hot work, HAZCOM, fire, welding, cutting, forklift, crane safety. Foreman training. OSHA 10-hour. All crew leaders, foremen, supervisors, and designated safety personnel will be required to have taken the OSHA 10-hour in order to run any crew on Construction Zone projects. Job hazard analysis. Introduction. Many accidents can be reduced if we work together and share our safety knowledge. Job hazard analysis, or JHA, is a basic approach to developing accident prevention procedures by documenting the first-hand experience of workers and supervisors. A JHA can be a central element in a safety program. JHAs can be used to orient new employees to specific work tasks. JHAs can be used as training tools when performing tasks that are not routine or involve special situations. Job hazard analysis involves 4 basic steps. 1. Select a job to be analyzed. 2. Separate the job into basic steps. 3. Identify the hazards associated with each step. 4. Control each hazard. Competent person. One who is capable of identifying existing and predictable hazards, hazards dangerous to employees, and who has the authorization to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate them. Qualified person. One who, by possession of a recognized degree, certification, or professional standings, or who by extreme knowledge, training, and experience has successfully demonstrated their ability to solve problems relating to the subject matter, the work, or the project. Foreman responsibility. Maintain control of their employees at all times and ensure that the workers are aware of the hazards associated with the task assigned to them and that they have the proper PPE needed. Employees' responsibilities. Follow all posted safety rules and regulations. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment as needed for the hazards presented by the assigned task. Correctly use all equipment, machinery, and tools. Never use any equipment in which you have not been authorized or trained to use. Immediately report all near misses, accidents, and injuries. PPE. Eye safety. Head, face, hands, feet, respirator, body. Can you see the difference? Employees' failure to use required PPE. 100% eye protection will be mandatory while on construction site. ANSI Z87. Hard hat will be worn with the bill to the front 100% of the time while on site except when welding. Both face and eye protection will be worn when chipping and grinding. Reflective work vest will be worn at all times by those in charge of traffic control. Only leather work boots or shoes allowed. No athletic shoes, sandals, or unserviceable footwear permitted. Respiratory protection. Procedures for selecting respirators for use in the workplace. Medical evaluations of employees required to use respirators. Fit testing procedures for tight-fitting respirators. Procedures for proper use of respirators. Procedures and schedules for cleaning, disinfecting, storing, inspecting, repairing, discarding, and otherwise maintaining respirators. Training of employees in the respiratory hazards to which they are potentially exposed during routine and emergency situations. Hearing protection. All employees exposed to work areas where the noise level exceeds 85 dB, hearing protection shall be required. Employees should be trained on selection as well as maintenance of such PPE. Code of conduct. Harassment is prohibited. Always conduct yourself professionally. No loose-fitting or sexually explicit or profanity-type clothing. Shirts must have at least a 4-inch sleeve. Long hair will be neatly kept under the hard hat as to prevent serious injury caused by entanglement. Jewelry. No dangling jewelry or earrings shall be permitted on work sites. Necklaces shall be kept inside shirts as to prevent possible entanglement in moving equipment and rotating machinery. No cutoffs, shorts, or tank tops. Emergency Action Plan. All employees working on a construction site shall be trained on that site's specific EAP. The following elements at the minimum shall be included in the plan: alarms, emergency numbers, rescue medical duties, emergency escape routes, muster points, annual training. Accident injury reporting. All accidents and injuries should be reported immediately to supervisors so that preventative measures can be taken to eliminate any further injuries. Modified Duty Program. Each contractor, subcontractor, and tier contractor working on the construction zone projects will institute and maintain a modified duty program for on-the-job injured workers. In all cases possible, healthcare providers, physicians treating injured workers from construction zone projects will prescribe work restrictions for injured workers consistent with the modified duty program, rather than prescribing days away from work. Causes of death in construction. Fall protection, 1926.501. Every 4 minutes in the United States, someone suffers a fall injury. Last year alone, some 717 workers died of injuries caused by falls from ladders, scaffolds, buildings, or other elevations. How many times have you risked your life? Fall protection, 1926.500. Each employee on a walk working surface, horizontal and vertical, with an unprotected side or edge which is 6 feet or more from the lower level, shall be protected from falling by the use of guardrail system, safety net, or personal fall arrest system. Guardrail system regulations. Top edge height of top rails or equivalent guardrail system members shall be 42 inches plus or minus 3 inches above the walking working level. Guardrail systems shall be capable of withstanding, without failure, a force of at least 200 pounds applied within 2 inches of the top edge in any outward or downward direction at any point along the top edge. Wire rope clips. Never saddle a dead horse. Personal fall arrest system. Harness, lanyard with snap hooks, lifelines, retractables, rope grabs, anchor points. Anchorages shall be designed, installed, and used under the supervision of a qualified person as part of a complete personal fall arrest system that maintains a safety factor of at least 2, capable of supporting at least twice the weight expected to be imposed upon it. Anchor points. Anchorages used to attach personal fall arrest systems shall be independent of any anchoring being used to support or suspend platforms and must be capable of supporting at least 5,000 pounds per person attached. As per the new steel erection standards, steel erectors are required to wear fall protection when working at heights greater than 15 feet. However, on construction zone projects, fall protection will be required at 6 feet for all crafts. PFAS. Always inspect body harness prior to use. D-rings should be positioned between shoulder blades. Harness should fit snug, yet not tight as to cut circulation to legs. Never use the lanyard as a positioner. Positioning devices. Positioning devices shall be secured to an anchor capable of supporting at least twice the potential impact load of an employee's fall, or 3,000 pounds, whichever is greater. Positioning devices shall be rigged such that an employee cannot free fall more than 2 feet. As of January 1, 1998, only locking-type snap hooks shall be used. Warning lines and safety monitoring systems. Warning line systems. Erect around all sides of the roof work area. Set 6 or 10 feet back. Flagged every 6 feet. Height between 34 inches and 39 inches, including sag. Must support 16 pounds of force. Tensile strength of 500 pounds. Workers, except those engaged in roofing work, must be kept inside the warning line. Points of access, materials handling areas, storage areas, and hoisting areas must be connected to the work area with an access way made of 2 warning lines. Barricade barrier set across access way when it's not in use. Warning line system. Wall openings and hole covers. Every wall opening from which there is a drop of more than 4 feet shall be guarded. Hole covers. Floor hole or opening greater than 2 by 2, in which a person can accidentally walk on, shall be protected by a cover that leaves no openings more than 1 inch wide. The cover shall be securely held in place to prevent tools or materials from falling through. An estimated 2.3 million construction workers work on scaffolds. Protecting these workers from scaffold accidents would prevent 4,500 injuries and 50 deaths every year. All of these can be controlled by compliance with OSHA standards. Scaffold 1926.451. All scaffolds shall be erected, dismantled, moved, operated, and repaired only under the direction of a competent person in scaffold safety. All employees working on a scaffold will be trained by a qualified person on the recognition of hazards when working with scaffolds and the procedures for minimizing those hazards associated with scaffold safety. Ground must be level, firm, and compacted prior to any scaffold being erected. Scaffold must be set on base plates or mud seals. Barricades should be placed around all scaffolds to keep other employees from walking underneath them. Each end of a platform, unless cleared or otherwise restrained by hooks or equivalent means, shall extend over the center line of its support at least 6 inches and not more than 18 inches, unless a guardrail which blocks employee access to the cantilevered end is in place. End rails must be used at all scaffold corners as to prevent anyone from falling off scaffold. Scaffolds must be capable of supporting itself and 4 times its intended weight. Scaffold decking must be fully planked and fall protection provided after 10 feet. Outriggers are not intended for weight bearing, only personnel and equipment. All employers shall provide safe means of access and egress for employees erecting and dismantling a scaffold where the provision of safe access is feasible and does not create a safety hazard. Aerial lift. Only trained and authorized persons shall operate an aerial lift. Belting off to an adjacent pole, structure, or equipment while working from an aerial lift shall not be permitted. Lift controls shall be tested each day to determine safe working condition. Never supersede manufacturer's specifications on load limits or number of occupants permitted on lift. Employees shall always stand firmly on the floor of the basket. Ladder safety. All ladders must be inspected daily or prior to each use. Those found to be unserviceable shall be removed from service immediately. Ladders should be set at a 4-to-1 ratio, extend 3 rungs or 36 inches beyond the edge and secured. 3 points of contact should always be maintained when ascending or descending a ladder. A rope or pulley system may be implemented for the raising and lowering of tools and materials. Always read and follow instructions and warning labels. Ladders may not be field modified for uses other than those intended by the manufacturer. Stairs, not too steep or flat, between 30 and 50 degrees. Keep stairs free of tripping hazards. Metal stair pans need to be filled or blocked before they're used with wood or other solid material. Stairs, ladders, or ramps shall be used when the break in elevation is greater than 19 inches. Trenching, excavation. Trenching. The National Safety Council rated excavation and trenching as the most hazardous job in the construction industry. 100 to 400 people are killed per year in excavations. 1,000 to 4,000 are injured every year. 25 trench fatalities to date, 2002, in Texas. Most deaths in trenches are from cave-ins. 50% of workers die trying to rescue other workers. A narrow excavation, not greater than the width, but the width of a trench is not greater than 15 feet. If forms or other structures are installed or constructed in an excavation so as to reduce the dimension measured from the forms or structure to the side of the excavation to 15 feet or less, the excavation is also considered to be a trench. Excavation. Excavation's hazards: cave-in, water, sewer, power lines, struck by equipment, falling objects, falls. Trenching. Soil piles are required to be at least 2 feet from the edge of the trench and/or retained as to prevent it from falling into the trench. Determination of soil type. OSHA categorizes soil and rock deposits into 4 types: stable rock, Type A soils, Type B soils, Type C soils. All trenches shall be revised daily and findings documented prior to entrance. Bench, slope, trench box. Means of egress from trench excavations. A stairway, ladder, ramp, or other safe means of egress shall be located in the trench excavations that are 4 feet or more in depth, so as to require no more than 25 feet of lateral travel. Working outside the box should never be an option. Choose the right box for the job. Barricades and signs. Red barricade, yellow barricade, cones, stations, signs. Barricading. Specific work areas which contain hazardous conditions or require special PPE will be secured with yellow caution tape. Only those personnel wearing the appropriate PPE and that work in the area may enter the work area or have approval from foremen controlling that zone. Specific work areas which contain dangerous or hazardous conditions and require special PPE will be secured with red danger tape. Only those personnel wearing the appropriate PPE and that work in that area may enter the work area or have approval from supervisor controlling that work zone. Confined space. A space large enough and so configured that an employee can bodily enter and perform assigned work, yet has limited or restricted means for entry and exit and is not designed for continuous occupancy. Electrical lockout-tagout. Control of hazardous energy. Lockout-tagout. What is it? Lockout-tagout, LOTO, is a means by which a specific piece of equipment or system is prepared for cleaning, maintenance, or servicing by isolation of all energy sources by a lock, blind, or a tagging system. Prevents unexpected startups or release of energy sources during maintenance that could cause injury. The key focus of the LOTO is to prevent unexpected startup or release of energy. This can include mechanical, hydraulic, thermal, electrical, pneumatic, compressed gases, chemicals. Failure can cause the following injuries: cut, crushing, amputation, burn, entanglement. Electrical safety. All electrical cords shall be inspected daily or prior to use. All frayed and unserviceable cords shall be removed from the worksite or repaired. Electrical. Cords shall not be allowed to run through doorways or over roads where they may become frayed or subjected to construction traffic without any added protection. Tape shall not be used as insulation to cover any illegal splices, frays, or damaged cords. All electrical panels, once energized, will be protected with proper panel covers. Circuit breakers properly labeled. Panel covers labeled. Homemade electrical cords will not be permitted on job sites. Hazard communication. Your employee's responsibility. Develop a written HAZCOM program. Make MSDS available to employees. Identify and list chemicals in their workplace. Label all chemicals. Provide training. Communicate the hazards. Employees' responsibilities. Read and understand MSDS label. Handle chemicals properly. You must be trained. Secure container. Tighten lid. Store in upright position. HAZCOM. All employers shall develop, implement, and maintain at each workplace a written hazardous communications program. This program will identify all chemicals located at that facility. A list of chemicals accompanied by the distributor's MSDS shall be accessible to all employees. Greases, fuels, paints, corrosives, flux, strippers, gasoline, diesel, oils, gases, adhesives, lubricants. Labels. All work areas shall be cleaned on a regular basis to prevent any accidents or injuries caused by slips, trips and falls, and possible fires. Fuel storage. All fuel stored in quantities greater than 25 gallons shall be stored at least 20 feet from any storage building and have an appropriate fire extinguisher within 25 feet. The area shall also be free of trash, debris, and any other combustibles. Safety can. Tobacco-free project. Construction projects will be tobacco-free. There will be no smoking or any other type of tobacco use while on construction sites. Welding and torching. All areas where welding and torching are to be conducted, special precaution will be taken as to prevent any accidental fires. Fire extinguishers will be accessible and a fire watch posted for at least 30 minutes after completion of work. Fire prevention. Every year, hundreds of deaths occurred when employees who have not been trained on fire extinguisher safety or proper use of them attempt to extinguish a fire and either caused serious injuries to themselves or fatal injuries to other employees. Bloodborne pathogen safety. Bloodborne pathogen safety. Blood and other body fluids may contain disease-causing agents such as HIV and hepatitis A or B. If you ever become exposed to body fluids, avoid the material and notify your immediate supervisor. Only company BBP-trained personnel may clean up such spills. Do not attempt cleanup unless you have been properly trained and have the appropriate protective equipment. Crane safety. Crane operators shall be trained and have related experience in addition to being familiar with safe crane practices. Operators should also have a complete understanding of all manuals, maintenance, and operating instructions provided for the specific crane in use. Operators shall have no physical, visual, or mental reactions or impairments that will affect the safe operation of the assigned crane. All cranes shall receive daily, thorough inspections in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations or applicable governing standards. Rigging equipment, slings, softeners, bridles, blocking cables shall be in good condition, identified to capacity, and properly stored when not in use. Earth-moving equipment and trucks. When equipment is serviced or repaired, the operator shall dismount until the service or repair is completed and then makes a complete walk-around safety check before remounting. All bidirectional earth-moving equipment and motor vehicles with an obstructed view to the rear shall be equipped with a warning horn and an automatic backup or reverse alarm that can be heard above and distinguished from the surrounding noise level. All off-highway earth-moving equipment and trucks such as loaders, dozers, scrapers, motor graders, rock trucks, tractors, rollers, and compactors will be equipped with rollover protective structures, ROPS, and seat belts per OSHA standards. Seat safety belts shall be installed on and used by the operators of equipment provided with ROPS. Mobile equipment shall not be left unattended unless parked securely to prevent movement, with all ground-engaging tools lowered to the ground, brakes set, and engine off. Equipment parked at night will be lighted, barricaded, or otherwise clearly marked where exposed to traffic. Personnel will not be transported or ride on equipment or vehicles that are not equipped with seats for passengers. When fueling equipment or vehicles with gasoline or liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, the engine shall be shut down. Saving time will not always save you money. Construction zone key safety issues. Safety is everyone's first job. All workers must be trained on how to perform their job safely. Hard hats, safety glasses, and proper footwear must be worn at all times. Do not speak to students or staff. Report all injuries immediately to your supervisor. A modified duty program is in effect on all projects. Report all safety hazards to your supervisor. No tobacco products are permitted on construction zone projects. Housekeeping is important. Clean as you work. family.